Joining us now to share her tips about kids and parents who have little in common is Suzanne Riss. She's editor-in-chief of Working Mother magazine. Good to have you with us this morning.
Thanks. Good morning.
Peter just seems like such a fantastic father because he has a great attitude about his son and supporting his son. And really, it's not such a bad thing if you and your child are opposite.
Absolutely not. The key here, I mean, it can feel like a bad thing to parents. They can feel at a loss, like, oh my God, my child isn't like me, what do I do? But the key is really to focus on understanding your child. Focus on what you want to learn about your kid, not on your differences. So here, it's not about the son learning about drywall. It's about the fact that the dad really wants to get to know him, and it's okay, whatever he is.
And he's just so supportive, which I think is really beautiful. One of the most important things you say, if you are working to parent your child who's a little bit different from you, is to avoid labeling them. Why?
Well, every child is born with a unique temperament, and that doesn't really change, it just evolves. So, for example, if your child is a little reticent meeting strangers, you don't want to label your child as shy, because the child could take that as a negative, and you're pigeonholing your child. What you really want to do is realize that labels can be very limiting. So instead, you might want to recognize that there's some real positives here. Your child is cautious, and praise her for that.
Right.
Yes.
And so praise those things and also nurture their interests, whatever they may be. If it is singing and, you know, your talent is caulking.
Exactly. You want to recognize, you know, you might be a couch potato and your child is a soccer star. So it's really an opportunity for you to learn from your child. And you can say, okay, you love soccer, tell me what the goalie does, tell me about penalty kicks, and your kid can get a real sense of confidence.
And this is, for a lot of people watching right now, this really draws a parallel to the TV show Glee, if you've seen it. Kurt Hummel, who's one of the characters, is a very flamboyant teenager. His dad is really a working man, and they seem to really support each other and work it out well. You say it's important to compromise too, but how much do you want to compromise as a parent so that you can still keep that parenting role and that authority?
Well, absolutely. You don't want to compromise so that your child is staying out till midnight and there are no limits. But what you really want to do is, rather than be critical, get curious. So if you're very neat and orderly and your child's room is a mess and you can't even see the floor, rather than start an argument about the fact that you're so messy and what's going on here, what you want to do is say, hey, do you need some more storage space? And you start talking, and you might find out that your child is keeping their room such a mess because he wants privacy and wants to keep you out.
And by doing that talking, by finding out what makes your child tick, it also may help you appreciate their perspective on things.
Absolutely. Children are usually doing things for a reason, and you want to find out what's really going on.
Of course, we should, you know, we're talking about dealing with a child who's so different from you that it's confusing, but sometimes a child can be a lot like you, and there is still no clear-cut way on how to parent, correct?
Yeah, I mean, you may think if you have a mini-me that you're on easy street because your child is identical, but the pitfall there is that you might start answering questions for your child, assuming you know what color your child wants their room, what they want to do with their life. You might start mapping out a plan that's really your plan. So you want to make sure that even if your child is very much like you, there might not be a carbon copy. Make sure they can express themselves and let you know what it is that they want. It might be a little different from what you think they want.
Some great advice, Suzanne Riss. Good to have you with us this morning. Thanks so much.
A lot happens early on The Early Show, weekday mornings on CBS.